don't know.
The bus stop didn't raise any red flags for APS because technically it's on Irving, not on Condor Dixon Street. APS says it doesn't look at a map of registered sex offenders when it maps out its bus stops, but the district simply moves the stop once there's a problem.
If you're moving it to the next, say, neighborhood, or regulating it a little bit different than a block or two, that doesn't do anything.
And students who walk past Dixon's house every day without a second thought echo that.
I think it's an okay situation, but I mean, the sex offender's still there. So even if you're a block away, it doesn't stop him from, or her from, finding you.
Now, APS does plan to move the bus stop, but says it could take a while because they'll have to inform all the parents and students first, and they aren't sure how far they're going to move it. APS did say it hasn't had any problems with Dixon. Back to you.
Okay, Selena, the school district says it usually deals with this issue about twice a year. The stop sign on Irving only serves high school students.
An Albuquerque man and his wife are jailed tonight for allegedly beating to death his 4-year-old daughter. Late Saturday, rescuers were called to this southeast Albuquerque home. The stepmother, Gayla Hernandez, said she found the girl on the floor barely breathing. The girl was pronounced dead when she reached the hospital. Doctors say the girl had a suspicious head injury and scratches and bruises over her entire body. Investigators say Hernandez and the girl's father, Anthony Chavez, had many excuses for her injuries, including falling from a bar stool, a scooter accident, and even a pit bull attack. But deputies say her injuries were no accident. Another red flag, their reaction to the girl's death.
We were very saddened by the fact that there was just really a lack of emotion on both of their parts when they were notified that their daughter and stepdaughter had passed away from her injuries.
Both Chavez and Hernandez are charged with child abuse resulting in death.
The search continues tonight for a Colorado girl who is the focus of an Amber Alert. 10-year-old Jessica Ridgway went missing Friday morning from her Westminster neighborhood on her way to school. And now the search for Jessica has expanded after someone in the town of Superior found a backpack and a water bottle. Today, police say those items are likely linked to the case. Investigators are analyzing them for DNA evidence.
The area where the backpack was found is approximately 6.4 miles from where Jessica lives. So obviously that distance has broadened our search and expanded our search, where we're now focusing in and around some of the areas in the town of Superior.
About 125 people from a dozen different police agencies are helping in the search for Jessica.
The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department is investigating a deadly shooting in the South Valley. It happened around 10 this morning at a home near La Vega and Arenal. Deputies say one of the men who was shot once called for help. When deputies arrived, they found a second man who had been shot dead. The injured man is expected to be okay. Right now, no one is in custody. Investigators say the two men, who are middle-aged, are friends. Their names have not been released.
The Office of the Medical Investigator has confirmed the body found last week is that of a missing Tucumcari woman. Kimberly Drummond's remains were discovered Friday a few miles outside Tucumcari near the Ute Reservoir. She was last seen in mid-September with 45-year-old Frank Keller. He was found in Nevada driving her car. Keller was arrested on another charge. Police are investigating Drummond's death as a homicide. OMI has not released how she died. Sandoval County Sheriff's deputies are investigating the severe beatings of a man and a woman. At around 5:30 last night, Elaine Chavez and an unidentified man were found in front of the Peña Blanca Recreation Center. Deputies say they had injuries across their faces and bodies. They were both hospitalized, but Chavez has been released. The man is still unconscious. Deputies are looking for the two men involved in the case. They also say alcohol may have played a role.
The three teenagers who took off from a court-mandated rehab facility are now back in custody. The group took off Saturday. One was caught right away. The other two were caught late last night at a Cuba convenience store. 18-year-olds McNeil Totachin, Javier Coloro, and Quantum McCook were all at the facility in Cuba as part of a federal probation order. That case is sealed, so we don't know what crimes they committed. All three are now in custody in the Sandoval County Detention Center. A young mother is charged with driving drunk with her baby in the car. Albuquerque police say 23-year-old Bridget Gleason was involved in a DWI crash last Thursday at Wyoming and Lomas Northeast. Police say she rear-ended another car. Gleason's 3-month-old baby was inside. She's now charged with DWI and child abuse.
A bizarre arrest after a man was busted beating up a stop sign and then police who tried to stop him. Officers were called to Main Street and West Deming around 2 Friday morning after someone saw the man beating up a stop sign. Police say when they approached 45-year-old Raymond Garcia, he became belligerent. 2 officers tased Garcia, but he kept kicking and he was tased again. Garcia then broke off the taser leads from his stomach, and that's when an officer tried to use his baton, but Garcia grabbed it and tried to use it against the officers. Garcia was then pepper sprayed, but that didn't even stop him. He took off running, but when he fell, he was arrested. Police suspect he was on drugs, but they did not find any on him.
The New Mexico State University Board of Regents is expected to name a new interim president. The regents are scheduled to meet Wednesday morning during a closed executive session. They will then hold a special meeting where they could announce a selection. The regents did not say who they intend to hire for that position. It was vacated last week when former President Barbara Couture and the regents announced a mutual separation agreement. The regents have not said why Couture resigned. Well, the election is still weeks away.
But we've already found some problems at the polls. Alex Goldsmith explains why it could take voters a long time to cast their ballots in a major city.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Checking the mic. A mic check.
Your collar is flipped up.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
He is on 2.
Uno y half. Media? Okay, I had it and I just didn't trust myself. Okay.
That means half?
Early voting starts tomorrow at some polling places around New Mexico, but many will certainly procrastinate and cast their ballot on November 6th anyway.
That's right. If you don't like lines, that could be a problem in one of New Mexico's largest cities. News 13's Alex Goldsmith has that story from the Newsplex.
Jessica Dean, Rio Rancho has a population of around 90,000 people, about 50,000 of whom the county tells us are registered to vote. Well, come election day, you can count on one hand the number of places they'll be able to vote.
February 5th, 2008. New Mexico Democrats are picking between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. In Rio Rancho, it's a zoo. More than 4 times the number of expected voters are at Rio Rancho High School, and the lines are bad, very bad. That election was run by the New Mexico Democratic Party. The Sandoval County clerk is in charge come November. But could there be issues? This year, there are 56 voting centers in Albuquerque alone, all free for any county voter to go to on Election Day. But in Rio Rancho, the number's a lot smaller. Just 5 sites open at city buildings and schools across the city of Vision, the same number as in neighboring Bernalillo. How big of a difference is that? In Albuquerque, there's a polling place for 1 out of every 10,000 people. In Rio Rancho, it's closer to 1 for every 18,000. But the head of Sandoval County's Elections Bureau, Eddie Gutierrez, tells me he doesn't think there'll be an Election Day nightmare. That's because absentee voting starts tomorrow and early voting opens up later this month. Gutierrez says 39,000 voters in the county cast their ballots early or absentee 4 years ago. With any luck, he's hoping for similar numbers and a fairly normal election day for his staff.
Now, of course, if you want to avoid any lines, you can always vote early. The test run for this setup that's going to be in place in November came during primary voting earlier this year. The county told me today that, if anything, there were too many sites open for that primary. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Alex. Again, early voting starts tomorrow in the general election. You can cast your ballot in person at your county clerk's office. However, in Bernalillo County, you must go to the clerk's annex at 620 Lomas Northwest. 16 more locations around the county will open up on October 20th, and county clerks will also begin mailing out absentee ballots tomorrow, which is also the deadline to register to vote. Of course, you can always vote on Election Day, which is November 6th. And that is when there will be 69 vote centers up and running in Bernalillo County.
I want to encourage voters, if they're not sure about their registration status, they're not sure if they are registered or whether we receive their change or their update, they can call us at our office at 243-VOTE. That's 243-8683. Or I really want to encourage folks who are on the internet to utilize our voter information tool. That's at bernco.gov/MVI, short for My Voter Information.
And before the end of the month, Bernalillo County will have a free mobile app that will provide a map of all voting locations as well as the wait times at those locations. Still to come, we'll tell you who's gone the farthest in the gas balloon race. And it's barely fall, but at one New Mexico resort, it's already winter. They're starting to make snow there.
Then on KRQE News 13 at 10, an APS employee claims Governor Susana Martinez's chief of staff threatened and assaulted her. He says she's just playing politics. What it's all about and the video at 10. Will we have to wait another day to see if daredevil skydiver Felix Baumgartner will attempt the highest, fastest free fall in history? Baumgartner was supposed to make the big leap today in Roswell, but it was delayed until tomorrow because of wind. Baumgartner and his team have been preparing for this jump for the last 5 years. Baumgartner plans to jump from 120,000 feet. During that free fall, he will break the speed of sound. Baumgartner can only jump if the winds on the ground are under 2 miles an hour.
And we want to update you on the 17th annual America's Challenge race. 5 teams are competing, trying to make it as far as they can for the win. Right now, an American team with pilots Peter Cuneo and Barbara Fricke is in the lead. Their balloon is in Garland, Texas, just northeast of Dallas. And after delay in this morning's mass ascension, dozens of balloons finally took flight. Gusty winds delayed the balloons for about an hour, but eventually officials cleared the pilots for a launch at around 8. On Saturday, the mass ascension was canceled because of the winds.
Well, let the skiers and the snowboarders rejoice. Sipapu started making snow today. Crews finished installing a new snowmaking pipeline last week, and the cold temperatures allowed the staff to test the water line and see how well it will make snow. Now, after today's test run, the resort expects to move its entire fleet of snow guns to the mountain within the next 2 weeks. That means snowmaking operations will likely resume at the end of the month. Sipapu is scheduled to open November 17th.
Look at that.
Give it up. That is good. Yeah, if we can get those cold temperatures in place. Remember, temperatures now mid-20s, some of these mountain areas each morning. So Sipapu making a little bit of snow. You'll start to see everybody get on board here and get this thing going. What would help all those areas would be some snow. And we'll get some.
A little base would be nice.
I think we got a shot soon. I'll talk about when momentarily. All right, here's a look. Dallas webcam and HD. Some high clouds out there right now, and especially earlier this afternoon. Now we're seeing them break up just a bit across the area, but beautiful stuff up around Taos County. As far as what's going on here in the metro, some high clouds pushing through the area as we speak, and it's not going to be a simple fiesta forecast by any stretch. We have a lot of complicated weather that's going to break itself out over the next 3 to 4 days, and as it does, it's going to have a real impact on what happens here. Northern third of the state, we are picking up some cloud cover right now, but again, that's that high variety that's not going to squeeze out much in the way of showers. 75 degrees in the metro, east-northeast winds, a manageable 3 miles an hour, 60s and 70s for the north right now, down to the south, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Looking at the winds, they're a factor to some degree across the northern third of the state. They'll die down later on. 31 miles an hour, though, in Raton, 28 Durango, 26 in Grants, and 24 up in the state capital. As far as a wider look goes across the Mountain West, not much going on, at least at this point, but that is going to change. It's sort of tough to make out, but if you have a widescreen TV, you can probably see it sitting off the coast of California. That next storm, which is going to be a factor for us. So let's break out your bus potential forecast here and let you know exactly what we're expecting. First of all, the storm that's eventually going to work its way in our direction is spinning over the Pacific as we speak. Timing on this, it's a long duration deal. Wednesday afternoon, we could start feeling some of the effects with everything peaking on Friday, and then Saturday morning we could still see some showers holding on before things clear out Saturday afternoon. Soaking rain will be possible for the west. Mountain snows, especially the San Juans of southwestern Colorado, could get crushed by this, and the northern New Mexico mountains could get some snow as well. Valley showers and wind, yes. Now, bust potential on this is a little higher than you might expect. 60% chance that this thing doesn't live up to billing. So let's talk about that. First of all, what we've got here is a westerly flow over the next day or so, which is going to lead to quieter weather here. But as we get the storm approaching, gusty winds come in on Wednesday and into Thursday, we get the storm. But look at the track of this thing. It heads up through the four corners and then eventually skips off to our north. That's not ideal, and that's why the bust potential is higher, because we don't have that track through the heart of the state. That's what we'll be watching. If we dip that thing down a little more or it draws some extra moisture, then we're going to end up moving the bust potential down. But for now, it's going to stay a little bit higher just because of that track. That track will be good for mountain sections. It'll be good for the northern tier of the state in the northwest, but may not be as good here in the metro, which is not such a bad thing given that we've got fiesta throughout the rest of the week. 65 Pagosa Springs, 67 in Durango, 70 in Cortez. You guys are good through Wednesday, but again, Places like Wolf Creek and the Durango Mountain Resort could see some big-time snow coming up by the time we hit Thursday night and into Friday. 72 Farmington, 68 in Cuba, and 71 in Grants. Sunny skies for tomorrow. Better chance at showers later in the week. 83 TRC and Deming. Same deal in Lordsburg. 72 in Silver City. Over to the southeast, a nice warming trend for tomorrow, and then cooling back down again on Wednesday. Across the northeast, temperatures here 60s, 70s, and 80s. Cooling back down again on Wednesday with a front, and then Thursday and Friday, the chance at showers returns and thunderstorms possible. Northern mountains, temperatures 50s and 60s, a much more active setup for Friday. Over into the East Mountains, high 70s here around Sandia Park and Cedar Crest, and finally right here in the metro. Temperatures in the 70s for tomorrow, looking pretty good. 7-day forecast. We will watch late Thursday into Friday.
All
Sounds
right.
good. Mark, thank you.
Sports is next.
Check, man.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2. "191 yards and 4 touchdowns will get you noticed." UNM running back Kasey Carrier is the Mountain West Co-Offensive Player of the Week. He shares the award with San Diego State quarterback Ryan Katz. Carrier accounted for all but one of the Lobos' 5 touchdowns in Saturday's 35-14 victory over Texas State. His 191 yards were the most for any UNM running back since Rodney Ferguson ran for 210 in 2006. Carrier also earned College Sports Madness Mountain West Player of the Week honors and was College Football Performance Awards Honorable Mention Running Back of the Week. He credits the offensive line.
Our guys up front came in with the mentality to blow open the holes for the running backs, and they came out and definitely did that.
We said it in the spring. He's a good little football player. He's a good player. I think he's tough.
And he will be in Hawaii this weekend, the 3-3 Lobos with the Rainbows on Saturday.